Our next session is in association with Poetry Paradigm, where the poets of the poetry group would be reading out their own verses. May I now invite on stage all the participating poets in the likes of Ananya Chatterjee, Arthur Cardozo, Ashoke Viswanathan, Joie Bose, Ruchhita Kazaria, and Saira Shah Halim. Ladies and gentlemen, reading by City's poets in association with Poetry Paradigm.
We are Poetry Paradigm, and I'm going to introduce everybody. On my left, extreme left, is Ruchhita Kazaria. She's a peace activist as well as an advertising professional. Her passion is writing Urdu nazms as well as Hindustani poetry. So you will see her very passionate about causes, especially pertaining to India as well as Pakistan. So she's doing a commendable job, and you will be hearing her this afternoon reciting a freshly baked verse. Thank you so much, Ruchhita. We have Ananya Chatterjee with us. Ananya Chatterjee is an acclaimed poet and a critic. She's also a software professional who works graveyard shifts when it comes to IT. She's also a published poet as well as a social activist. Thank you so much, Ananya. Well, we have the president of Poetry Paradigm, Mr. Ashoke Viswanathan, who doesn't need any introduction. However, he is a national award-winning director, filmmaker, as well as he's an actor as well. And he's an acclaimed writer. He's written some amazing scripts for films that have won national awards. And we are very privileged to have Ashoke Viswanathan for us. Thank you. Well, we have Joie Bose. She is the main brain behind all of us gathering today. The Poetry Paradigm group is because of her initiative and hard work that this entire group, Poetry Paradigm, was formed. And we're trying to make poetry sustainable for living, not only in Calcutta, but all across India as well as outside. Joie is a corporate trainer and educator, as well as a very passionate poet. I mean, if you're logged on to the internet, you'll always see 2 poems that have been uploaded. So this is how passionate she is about poetry. Thank you so much, Joie, for being here. We have Arthur Cardozo on the right. He is a designer. He is a software professional, as well as an advertising guru of Calcutta, and a very passionate poet and a cartoonist as well. So thank you so much, Arthur, for being here. And
we have with us anchoring Mrs. Saira Shah Halim. She is a poet, a corporate trainer, a social activist. She's everything rolled into one, and we have her here having another session soon after this. So back to you, Saira.
Thank you so much. So, Ruchhita, the audience would love to hear a poem penned by you. So, thank you.
A very good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for gathering here. It was said not even 5 minutes back that it's a Monday afternoon and it's quite a challenge to be here. So thanking you yet again that you could make it, and it's lovely seeing all the faces here that I see. This poem is penned on the pity of war, and this is a subject matter which is very close to me. So I'm reading from there. The parched earth craved for rain, for God did not oblige, we used our brain. War was unleashed, blood splattered all around, corpses deposited safely in department lost and found. Questions were raised which soon became numb. Mankind plunged in ghettos, senses all numb. Did the earth get fertile? Did the blood yield a crop? Oh yes, look around, we counted each drop. Who'll enjoy the harvest when no one is alive? Hey, you must sacrifice in order to survive. Baseless conversations with a haggard expression. Omnipresent animosity leading to dire depression. I stepped out last night, shrouded in fear. Upon reaching the battlefield, I couldn't blink a tear. An apparition I saw, it smiled tenderly and moved its lips to elucidate eagerly. We are a misguided lot, opportunists and carnivores. We tear at each other and lament with folklores. Such wars need to be waged, populace is on the rise. Human race needs moderation, for supplies do not suffice. We might be breathing, but the soul is long dead. Are we actually clever? I fear, plain unread. The government looks for excuses. The military understands boundaries. The oppressed are ready to shift into the new-made foundries. You wish for prosperity, to enjoy the nectar of life, to appreciate the five senses, oblivious of the strife. So revel in the war aftermath, its five senses await thee. Go on, do not parry, touch, smell, hear, taste, and see. Smell the rotting flesh, see the mass devastation, touch the corpses, hear the first frustration. Taste the blood water which the earth so needed, which made the crops fertile, painstakingly which was seeded. I am but a soul, ageless and gone. Now bring forth the musician in you and bray the homage song. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That was beautiful, Ruchhita. That was indeed very beautiful. Now, Ananya, could we have a nice, fresh verse from you?
Excuse my voice. The poem is titled White Lies. I am a peddler of lies. I soothe my children with fables of peace. Their large glassy eyes droop heavier with doubt and desire. Outside, the sirens roar. The battlegrounds retire for the night. At last, my children snore in the serenity of ceasefire. The arms will be up again by morn. Shells, not twittering quails, will tear through the peace of dawn. Tonight's calm is mere eyewash. Tomorrow will draw blood, I know. We are perching on a live wire. Yet, in this crimson burrow, I promise peace in my lullabies. The world is still on fire, but I have carved a fraction of white-lilted paradise with my nocturnal lies. Thank you.
That was indeed poignant. And now we'll have Ashoke Viswanathan, who will be reading out his verse.
The Bard in the Dark. The smoke bends at crossings and the light dimly nods. Why are you hesitant if you ape the same gods? The night suits your desire and the dark is your card. Why does your poetry then steer clear of the bard? 400 years and more, it's been a long, long time. But the night wants him back, and so does this rhyme. In a world contracting with ideas myopic, drama is the answer for everything that's sick. Craving media attention, nothing beats something. The self is the answer, much ado about nothing. Not as you like it, 'cause success is to fail. Let the night take over in this winter's tale. That elusive pause. If only I could pause, take a deep breath and sigh, I would learn how to think while waiting for the breeze. The lakes could then shimmer without the slanting sun, and the earth could whisper without my approval. It would be a meeting of 3 cats and an owl, all into politics, but without the malice. Yet no less dangerous in a town full of lies, where coffee begets hate and the face is a mask, where concrete swallows earth and the water dries up. They would wait for my pause while sharpening their claws. The last one. If time can lie, and lie in wait, revenge reveals that rage conceals what seems like truth. Thank you very much.
Now we'll have Joie Bose, who is, like I said, the backbone of Poetry Paradigm, reading out some verses.
Every time when I read, I don't decide what I want to read, but I come here, I come to the place, I let the building, the air, everything around me, I soak it in, and then I choose. And right now, the one I want to read is called The House of God. Under the grove of sweeping leaves by the old ambassador unused is the temple with its doors closed. A devotee had bought some prasadam rolled tight in a translucent paper. You will see heaven, he said. Could the god there be Shiva? But there was no cow or snake or the 3-leaf eye. Maybe a mother goddess then? But her blessings are too worldly. They enable you to stand and walk, not fly. Krishna then, the lover eternal. But then there would be incense sticks, flowers and sweets, overflowing abundance. Buddha merely sought nirvana, a priceless prize boxed in frugality. Maybe his. It's under a yogi tree. The arches were from Benares. The rolly red door had a pink lotus and a row of vermilion swastikas. It was a vision from a Hindu uterus. Some brass bells and hibiscus trees were scattered all over aesthetically. Don't tread there, we don't. I was told. Much of untamed nature there. But into the wild I went creeping cat-like with curiosity. The temple there, with all its magnetism, was drawing me closer in faith. I was flying to meet my God. No one notices when I'm gone. My silent self often gives my proxy in an afternoon siesta of parishioners. Empty-handed, I offer my prayers before I try to open the rusty door. I heard its creak with a heartfelt alacrity. And there it laid, no fanciful idols, but a board full of light and black coils. It was a switch house. It was no temple. Laughingly, I looked at the open sky and I reassured myself that my God doesn't stay there either, above the clouds and invisible stars. Nor does God stay in concrete structures and religion. Can't keep God away as siblings squabble for their bit of love. The house of God, my God, is how I make of it and mold it to perfection. That perfection that stays in my mind, only my mind. Thank you.
We have Arthur Cardozo, who is an eminent cartoonist, poet, and an ad guru of Calcutta. He'll be reciting his freshly woven poetry for us.
The last time we did something like this was at a network marketing seminar where this guy said, "Can you imagine yourself playing golf on a Monday morning?" And all of us looked at him and said, "Obviously not." Reading poetry on a Monday morning in Calcutta in the Victoria, braving the traffic, this is something really special for me. This piece is called Cut Piece. They tore me from my baby, they tore me from my love, They tore me from all glory. They then said, shove. They watered me with piss. They blinded me with light. They burnt me with cigarettes. They Agent Oranged me with might. Vietnam plight. They scudded and tomahawked my bones to splinters in Baghdad. In Bosnia, Croatia, Syria, bullets, oh dear. And then in guise, they looked for it in doves, in dialogues and plebiscites, in worded speeches, in Armani breeches, in candle marches and marathons, in red roses and tulips white, in white flags and silver lights. Hey, stop the fights. Peace is in pieces. Hypocrisy has its heights. Thank you.
Saira.
That was indeed deep. Thank you so much, Arthur. Oh, well, I'm reading out my verse. And mostly all of us were reading out verses on peace, because end of the day, as poets, we had a mission that we will be talking, and if we can be silent activists, because activism is not all about going out on the streets, holding placards, or shouting from the rooftops. You can always be that change that you want to see in the world. And what better than poetry to send that message of peace and brotherhood? So I've written a word, and I think that certain words today are being threatened. So I feel that it's very important to further sustain peace as well as secularism, which is again facing a threat in the country. So my verse is titled "The Secular Word in a Nuclear World." Tonight, I'm that N word. Nuclear, that we hold with pride. Don't mess with us, we hiss. We pump our chests with a false sense of bravado and nationality. Justice is delivered. Rejoice, countrymen, our government wants to be taken seriously. Don't you remember what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Yes, we own that dreaded beast now. I'm that time bomb waiting to dismantle, disputing unreality. I'm that law that hangs. I go by the book, do what is written. It's all clear now. Our agenda. What's there to hide? I am that law of the land. I'm that sword of Damocles that dangles. I'm that albatross around your neck. And then out of the blue, a stranger asks me, are you trying to question the country's judiciary? Today we hosted a seminar on democracy. An illustrious speaker reiterated that we are trying to remove secularism from the country's dictionary. Minority may not be a majority, and majority needn't be the gospel truth you imagine in your Bible of things. Does that take away human rights, unseen, unsung? The nationalists in the jingoism pretending to be colorblind. We will take away your voter's ID, your ration cards, you'll be second-class citizens, but we will let you live. Say, aren't we kind? But I'm a fire, I will ignite. I'm a revolution, I'm a dynamite. Disputing unreality. These strangers on a networking site decided he knew my beliefs based on my name, putting me in a box for a status update. He forgot there was more to me than the God he saw in my name. Consciousness in a shroud to usher in fairness is my aim. I once led a merry life. My life was good. Vision in flashes inverted reality. And then came human calamities. One after the other, they pounded the pavement till the next death toll, till the hanging. And we added one more in our bloodthirsty list. We are gradually turning humans into beasts, if I may say so. We kill them for our tongue and eat them at leisure, beat them hollow, feed them, make them plump to quench our hunger. In taking selfies and espousing yoga, I'm reminded once again how a simple word which means nothing to you might mean a lot to me. So let this remain my Sunday rhyme. Today and tomorrow, all will be forgotten as we dress up to go and dine. Back to business, back to Walmarts. Mondays, the stock exchange results will be astounding. And by the morning hours, commuting to work and back, the grey thoughts won't come hounding. It's almost 4 a.m. by the clock. Fragmented thoughts disturb me to despairs of insanity. What grisliness will our children see? Which burning corpse will be the last gate of humanity? Will I be a wordless fire, trailing a blaze of arcane heat, plunging into chasms of defeat? Or will I turn dynamite in this sunless heat? Thank you so much. So now that we have some more time, I would request Poetry Paradigm poets if they could read out one more verse each. So Ruchhita, over to you.
Thank you so much, Saira. This poem is called Pick Up the Pen, and the theme of the poem is anti-fascism. Till when shall the truth be in hiding? Till when shall it keep sighing? Oppressed in the clutches of the night? Come on then, it's time you fight. Like a breathing corpse, till when shall it sleep? Quivering, sitting in a corner, till when shall it weep? The nights of anguish are fading away. The tales of tyranny have something to say. Come then, pick up the pen. The time is yours. Come then, find your voice. This time is yours. The vultures of jingoism have mastered the craft. They feed on your soul and pluck out your heart. The religious divide is the monomaniac's goal. Pray, understand their weapons, and play no role. The garb of superstition has to be ripped. The carefully careless hypocrisy needs to be whipped. What you see is all but a lie. That what is omnipresent is a futile cry. The truth can't be concealed, no, not anymore. The voice of the pen shan't be mute anymore. It's a free nation, why then these restrictions on speech? It's a free nation, why then this hatred they preach? This anarchy, this chaos awaits its grave. Let's break the shackles, you're no longer its slave. Take a step, it's a war. Pick up the pen, it's a war. Open your eyes, it's a war. Awaken your soul, it's a war. Thank you so much.
That was indeed deep. Ananya, over to you.
Intolerance. You ask the winter chill the whereabouts of oleanders, which bloomed last April. The wind stands in silence. Winter hasn't heard of spring. The fall is a stranger to summer. Every season is an island now, with no memory of the other. The chill thus shrugs in self-defense. Nature too has been learning from us lessons of intolerance. You shiver, cold and clueless. Remembrance is a cursed virtue. It's best to imitate the chill you caught. It's time you forgot the oleanders too. Thank you.
Now, Ashoke Viswanathan will read out a verse.
when the lake overflows. When the lake overflows and the leaves get jittery, the earth makes appeals for a swift ceasefire. When the orchids vanish and the moisture drops, politics somersaults so as to crush protest. Why is the lily silent? What of the great banyan? Do they know of the fire that rises in the water? Silence is safe, secure, smooth, silky, subtle. It is comforting and even quixotic. Can protest be silent? Can silence be stifling? One needs to ask the banyan if it has overcome its injury. Not so the orchids. They tend to turn away, for this world overflows with uneven cobblestones. Will poetry evaporate when the poet is depressed? Will ideas embrace death if the great banyan sleeps? Thank you.
Thank you. That was wonderful, Ashok. Joie, Bose, over to you.
The Victoria Memorial and the Ganges are two things that are very integral to Calcutta. And this poem I wrote sitting next to the Ganges, and it's only poetic that I read it here as well. This poem is called Seeking Nirvana. By the Ganga, breeze river people, they are flowing, passing you, passing by the time. Worded emotional actions, they are drifting, passing you by. By the Atman, fleshed bloody minds, they maneuver, pass you by. Never born, you will never die, but continue. Ganga, time and Atman persist. Your perseverance, you persevere, enduring Ganga, time and Atman. You become the floating drifter maneuvering in the sense realm. You are evanescent, other, unseeking, sought, uncrying, grief, unloved, love. In a vacuum you exist, unaffected. Peace, where do I find you? Disintegrating into you, peace grasps, exuberating a fragrance, detaching from you in a bizarre, calm sovereignty. Thank you.
That was beautiful, Joie. Arthur, over to you.
Thank you. There's something about the blues that has always been peace for me. This one's on the blues. And then they played the blues. The four-string bass smoked out the mist. Another daffodil from medieval poetry bloomed a deeper hue. The bumblebee buzzed in a tizzy. The purple of imagination took over where red had left its scarlet scar. And drenched rainbows, two-timed, two tones. Dewdrops duped weeping leaves. The heart played percussion that bordered on kajun. The dragonfly decided to tango with the soul. And then they played the blues. It rained like hell in New Orleans and flooded the ghats in Kolkata. Another daffodil from medieval poetry bloomed the deeper hue. The purple of imagination smoked out the mist. Dragons and demons auctioned for the soul. Dewdrops duped budding leaves. And then they played the blues. Thank you.
That was indeed poignant. And now for the last verse. This poem of mine is titled A Long, Long Wait. And it has an air of optimism besides everything that we face every day. Such a long, long wait at humanity's gate. Justice for which we fought has been postponed for another date. Such a telling travesty of truth. The clouds gather steam, then rust away in the morbid gloom. Such a heavy heart, weighing tons of hope. That life killed and verses that realism drilled. Such a weary journey to reach this stage. Blood, sweat, tears filled in every page. Such a wrong time to feel this way. In twilight hours to see a sun ray. Such a right time to go left again. Equity in ideologies where thoughts are springing. Such a deep moment to feel shallow again. Swam till the deep, but no one was for keeps. Such bruised memories came back again, and to think I was trying to heal despite the pain. Thank you so much. It was wonderful reading out for all of you. Now, if you would like to ask any of us any questions, the Poetry Paradigm group that is trying to make a difference. We're trying to promote poetry and make it sustainable for living. So we'd be happy if you would like to ask us any questions. You can raise your hands and we can pass you the microphone.
Could we ask our president to say something about Poetry Paradigm? Sir, please say something about Poetry Paradigm.
Well, I think Saira has said it all. This is a group that's not just coming together of poets writing poetry, but actually to interact and perhaps reveal those spaces between the words where the words don't exist. Perhaps those are the most eloquent areas. Or even if there is a word, to think of the other word which is not said. I'm reminded of this very funny story of a child specialist, Dr. Benjamin Spock, who didn't believe in corporal punishment in the least. And apparently he wanted to rebuild his house, so he piled up some cement outside the house. And the street urchins, they made a mess of the cement, so he got a little annoyed and told them gently not to play with the cement, but they did it again. So he was finally losing it, so he said, please don't mess up the cement. But the children did it again. So he really got wild and he started beating up the children. And while he was doing so, and this is where poetry really loses out, one of the neighbors came in and said, but Dr. Spock, I thought you didn't believe in corporal punishment. And Dr. Spock said, my ideas hold in the abstract, but not in the concrete. So perhaps that is what poetry is all about, the word that is not said. And Poetry Paradigm is all about words that are not being said, things that are not being done, but which are perhaps hinted at.
Joie, you can, of course, give the concluding note to the whole session today.
Thank you so much. We all read words from our heart, and the thing that unites us is that we speak only in poetry. Even when it's deep into the night, we interact with each other only via verse. And that's how it's been. And I would really like to thank the entire youth brigade. So a very big hand for the youth brigade, without who we are nothing. Thank you for writing. Thank you for being with us. And we would like to thank everybody who's come here on a Monday morning. And please do like Poetry Paradigm and stay tuned to all the things that we are doing. Like the page Poetry Paradigm on Facebook. Thank you so much. And thank you, Saira, for hosting this wonderful session.
Thank you so much, Kolkata Literary Meet. It's again Kalam, that is the Tata Steel Kolkata Literary Meet, for giving us this wonderful opportunity, for spending time with you. It's a lovely day, it's sunny and bright, and we loved sharing our thoughts in the form of verse. Arthur, would you like to say something, please?
Well, I've said it all. I think I've said it all. I think I've said it all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being such a wonderful audience, and I'll join you in the next session. Thank you so much.